What's good, everybody? It's your boy ShawnFromNVY back with another video. Now let's just be honest. We all saw this coming. This should be no surprise to anyone. As of today, the Indiana Fever, for whichever one of these words you want to use, has released, changed, parted ways, or fired Christie Sides. This is no shock to me. I think this move is what we saw coming. If Indiana Fever wants to make a run for a championship in the next 2 to 3 years, this is something that had to be done. Now, I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. You guys may not like some of the things I'm gonna say in this video, but I'm gonna say it because this is my opinion. This is how I feel. I agree with the parting ways or the firing of Christie Sides. I don't think she's the right coach for Caitlin Clark. I agree with that one. Now, I don't think Christie Sides is a bad coach. There could be worse. Now, hear me out. There could be worse. There were times where I thought to myself, there were a lot of winnable games that I felt like could have been won if Christie Sides didn't seem to self-sabotage the game. Not taking the right appropriate timeouts, not challenging plays. One of my biggest issues is how she was too relaxed at times when Caitlin was getting overly banged up. Now, in sports, you're gonna get banged up, but when you're getting overly banged up, when you're getting assaulted on the court, when you're getting thrashed, and your coach is still sitting there as if there's nothing going on. There were too many of those times where I seen that, and it really just gave me a bad taste for Christie Sides. And the icing on top of it was the whole Nalissa Smith, DJ Carrington thing. A situation that should have been nipped in the bud before it even gained traction. Christie Sides had to go. Even just looking at the beginning of the season, as they were playing those first couple games, it seemed like to me Christie Sides did not know how to coach Caitlin Clark. When you have a player like Caitlin Clark who can be utilized in so many ways, why would you not utilize her in every way possible that you can? Now, like I say, she's not a bad coach. She's just not the right coach for Caitlin Clark and this new regime of the Indiana Fever. And I say that because her overall record, 33-47. .413 win percentage. I've seen worse. We can go and look at the Sparks. Coach just got fired. We can go look at the Mystics. Coach just got fired. It could be worse. We can look at Teaspoon. It could be worse. She'll probably land a job somewhere. I mean, I don't think it'll be an immediate hire, but she'll probably land a job somewhere. I would not be surprised if the Chicago Sky pick up Christie Sides. That just seems like the type of thing that organization would do. But to those teams who lost coaches this year, the Atlanta Dream, the Washington Mystics, I'm not even gonna put her in the conversation with the LA Sparks because they deserve a better coach than Christie Sides. The Chicago Sky, Atlanta Dream, Washington Mystics, they could be winnable jobs for her. Now, not to mention that Christie Sides did make it to the playoffs this year. Now, I don't know how much that you want to give to her or how much that you want to give to Caitlin Clark, which I know you guys, Caitlin Clark fans, could probably give Caitlin Clark all of the credit. Cool, kudos, whatever. I'm not debating you guys on that one. This job here was Christie Sides' job to lose. Christie Sides were given back-to-back overall first-round picks. Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark. Now, I know some people are like, how do you mess that up? And I'm with you guys. How do you mess that up? So, even though she made the playoffs, I already knew Caitlin Clark wasn't going to go deep into the playoffs because of the way they were knocking her around all season. As we can see, the Indiana Fever, they made a lot of moves as far as upper management. With the return of Kelly Crosskoff, with the addition of Amber Cox, with the slight move from GM to senior advisor of Lynn Dunn, which, by the way, Lynn Dunn, a lot of people were wondering why Lynn Dunn didn't get fired, why Lynn Dunn got moved from GM to senior advisor. I wouldn't have got rid of her neither because Lynn Dunn is the only coach who had brought this team a championship. 2012. Everyone is hoping and praying to get Stephanie White. She was an assistant coach for the Indiana Fever. She eventually took over Lynn Dunn's spot when she retired. She became the coach in 2015, whereas in 2015, her first year of coaching, she took the Indiana Fever to the finals, even though they lost it against the Minnesota Lynx. Now, her second year, they made it to the playoffs, but they got knocked out the first round by the Phoenix Mercury, and that was all. Her overall record is 37-31. It's good. She's over 500, so that's good. Her postseason record is 6-6, which is good. 500. A lot of people are saying she's the best pick for this job. I'm gonna say, going off her credentials, going off her experience, even just going off of what the Connecticut Sun just did in the playoffs, the only other coaches I see that could possibly come in and coach Caitlin Clark and the Fever, and this is reaching. This is like super reaching. This is like Mr. Fantastic reaching. It'll be her Iowa coach, Lisa, or it'll be Cheryl Miller. Neither of which I think will come and stop what they're doing to coach the Fever. So, I mean, the Fever need to do whatever they can do to get Stephanie White. That's their best bet. So now you have a new president of basketball operations. You also have a new COO and now you have a new senior advisor. Normally when that GM comes in, that GM wants their own coach. So the link up between Amber Cox and Stephanie White, there may be a link there, we don't know. Some people say there is a link there, but I don't know. I'm not an insider on basketball. I just Google stuff and I see stuff as it comes. So I don't have any inside people that can tell me secrets of what's going on. I get the information, I share the information with you guys. It's actually up to Amber Cox to get Stephanie White. That's her job. I don't think it'll be too much persuading because the Connecticut Sun is probably about to be dismantled. I doubt that she want to rebuild in Connecticut, whereas she could just build up in Indiana, where she already has ties to. Other moves that the Indiana Fever have to make in order to make this thing successful. Immediately, day one, Amber Cox, day one, trade Nalissa Smith immediately. As we like to say in the hood, immediately. And this is why I say you trade her. On the court, she was a liability in moments that mattered. And that's the reason why her minutes got decreased. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Towards the end of the season, it's because moments when we needed you to make plays or even just defensive stops, she couldn't do it. She's a liability. She's slow. She can't get up the court fast. She ain't got good feet work. Also, on and off the court, you could just tell that she's the odd player regarding team building chemistry. Didn't really seem like she cared enough to build with the team. And it showed on the court. It really showed. She gave a half-ass effort a lot of the times. And like I said earlier, that whole Dejanay Carrington, Nalissa Smith thing should have been nipped in the bud. If not by Coach Christie Sides, it should have been nipped in the bud by Nalissa Smith because like, yo, you really messing up an opportunity for me to get the bag over here where the Golden Goose is at. And the fact that Nalissa Smith never wanted to check her girlfriend on the type of treatment and the type of stuff that they were doing on Twitter and on the court, all that crazy subliminal talking that Dejanay Carrington was doing on Twitter and stuff towards Caitlin Clark or her fans, and Nalissa Smith, who has an inside scoop on what Caitlin Clark is like, never try to nip that in the bud or be like, yo, nah, she ain't like what you think she is, at least publicly, because I don't know what she did behind the scenes, at least publicly. That right there wasn't a good look. And it didn't make fans want to get behind her. So yeah, get her off the team ASAP. Two more things and I'm out of here. The Indiana Fever, Amber Cox, has to acquire a big time player. A lot of people want Sophie. Sophie has another year on her contract, I believe. Satou Sabally. I personally picked Satou Sabally. Nika. For me, it'll be between Nika or either Satou. If I had to pick between those two, give me Sabally. Somehow, some way, the Indiana Fever has to get Satou Sabally in a Fever jersey. If you can't get Satou Sabally in the Fever jersey, or at least Nika, this offseason might have been all for nothing, because I'm pretty sure we re-signing Kelsey Mitchell over. And my last point was to make sure we re-sign Kelsey Mitchell is the perfect complementary player for Caitlin Clark. Although, and this just constructive criticism, although I would love to see her get more assists. I would love to see Kelsey Mitchell do more playmaking. See, because Kelsey Mitchell has been more of the shoot first type. She's the person you get a ball to, she's an ISO, or either she's a spot up shooter. She's normally that shoot first person. And that's cool, but sometimes that's not cool when your shooting is cold. Now, from what I've seen, Kelsey Mitchell's the type that if she's cold from shooting, she's gonna keep shooting until she get hot. And that can hurt your team. This is my personal opinion. I feel like Kelsey Mitchell needs to realize and recognize when she's shooting cold early versus late in the game. If you early in the game and you know you can't get them off, they're not going in, find other ways to make points. Find other ways to get your teammates involved so that those points keep accumulating. Because if you keep shooting up and nobody's there to grab no offensive rebounds, and every shot you miss is a shot they make, you're gonna spend so much time trying to catch up to the score instead of keep points accumulating. So my advice would be to recognize when you shooting cold and to switch it up. Because sometimes shooting cold and you keep wanting to pull up and you keep missing them, all you're doing is putting your team in a hole they gotta dig themselves out of later. And we've seen that a lot in this previous season. Now that's all I got for this video. You guys let me know how you feel about the Indiana Fever parting ways with Christie Sides. I kinda already know what you guys gonna be saying, but here's my thing too, and keep in mind that I'm not the type of person that gets excited or loves to see people lose their jobs. Times are too hard. People need their jobs. But I'm also a person that feel like the most qualified person should have the job. Hopefully Christie Sides lands somewhere. I don't root for a person's downfall. and neither should you. Karma is crazy. So if you're one of them people who's celebrating and happy-go-lucky because a person lost their job, shame on you. Be very careful on the things that you laugh at from people. Karma is a real thing. So other than that, if you like this video, make sure you like this video. Also down below, let me know if you guys are okay with the moves that the Indiana Fever have been making this offseason. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Shout out to you guys who helped me reach over 1,800 subscribers. You guys have really been doing your thing on this channel, man. I really appreciate it. I really do. Let's have the conversation, but let's always keep it respectful in the comments. Also, if there's nothing else, you guys stay safe, you guys stay cool, love yourself, love each other. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.